just fix it, because I'm getting really pissed off with the whole thing. Do you know that? Oh, hi. Whale on tonight, and nothing is going right. But it'll get better as the programme continues. As last week's club-style holiday caused so many of you to phone in, we have another one tonight. And we have music from Dear John. And we also have a discussion about the Grand National. Do you think the Grand National is a good idea or not? John is now. OK, right, let's get in the studio and, as they say, get the show on the road. We've got Duncan on this camera tonight, and he hasn't done the show before. But if I can just tell you, he looks really quite cute in pink and white and multicoloured shoes. Most amusing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the programme. Now, quiet, thank you. I'm sorry, I seem to have injured the cameraman on the way in and the lighting man, but never mind. Let's start the programme off with yet another laugh. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rent a Sketch.
So let there be no doubt that the Labour Party are the party to vote for at the Newbury by-election. No, that's not quite right. Perhaps I should be more forceful. So let there be no doubt that the Labour Party... No, that's still not right. Oh, here comes Neil. Perhaps he'll be able to help me with this. Hello, Neil. I was wondering if you might...
Oh, sorry, sunshine. I didn't see you there.
It's me, Neil.
Oh, yes, sorry.
John.
Oh, yeah. You'll have to give me a bit more than that.
No, it's John Smith.
Oh, come on now. I must know thousands of John Smiths.
No, it's the John Smith.
From the breweries?
No, leader of the Labour Party.
Oh, that John Smith. Oh, well, how the bloody hell are you?
Well, I'm a bit worried at the moment, Neil. I've got this Newbury by-election coming up, and I've just found out that the membership of the Labour Party has dropped to just 90,000.
Oh, listen, Jack.
John.
Oh, sorry, John. Don't worry about Newbury. I mean, if the polls were right, I'd be Prime Minister now.
Well, you don't think my profile's a little too anonymous with the public, do you?
No, of course not,
John.
John, no, of course not. You're a well-respected and well-known leader of the party that you lead.
The Labour Party?
That's the one, yeah. You should join, you know. The membership's down a bit, 90,000.
Yes, well, I seem to think that the public seem to think my personality is a little too anonymous.
Sorry?
You don't think my profile's too anonymous?
No, listen, James.
John.
Oh, sorry, John. Listen, I had this tosser in my shadow cabinet once, you know. Now, he was anonymous. Scottish chap he was. He was so anonymous, you know. When he went home, even his own dog barked at him. I tell you, that made me hoot.
My dog does that.
No. Dogs don't hoot. You must have a pet owl, Joe.
John!
Well, there you are. You wouldn't call a dog John. It must be an owl.
Well, you see, the thing is, Neil, you did so well that if I make a criticism of you, you know what people will think.
No, what will people think?
John Smith's bitter.
That's right. I'll have a pint, Jim.
OK. Thank you very much indeed. These guys are Rent a Sketch. They write the whole stuff, don't they? And they do it all.
That's
and
right. I'm sponsored by Femidom.
Are you? Well, very nice indeed. We have a lady in the. Would you shush just a bit, please? If you're going to talk to me in here just at the moment tonight, just take it nice and easy. She's shouting an awful lot. I've got a headache. You know what it's like. You're going to come back and do something bionic a little later, aren't you?
We will, indeed. Yeah.
OK, look forward to it. Thanks very much indeed, guys. Rent a Sketch. Now, that's enough. Listen, can you be careful? On the 1st of April this year, an annual ritual of cruelty in the guise of sport will begin at Aintree Racecourse in Liverpool, ending with the notorious Grand National steeplechase. Over 3 days, horses will suffer and die in 20 races over the most punishing fences in Britain. That is actually the propaganda by an organisation who wish to abolish the Grand National. First of all, this evening, let me talk to some gentlemen who, of course, don't want to do that at all. Paul Austin works for Ladbrokes, and they make how much money?
Too much.
30,
Too much.
60 million for the Grand National, they reckon. Is that right?
No, that's how much money that the people of Britain will actually bet on the day of the race.
So you would expect to get, what, half of that?
No, we wouldn't.
You wouldn't expect to get half
We
of
wouldn't
that?
expect to get anything like half of that. I mean, most of the money bet on the Grand National is from once-a-year bettors. There's probably 15 million of them going to come into betting shops to actually place a bet. Most of them will be paid out nearly as much as we take. Of that 60 million, obviously Ladbrokes don't take it all. That's all betting shops throughout the country.
Are you worried that the public opinion is turning against this race?
Well, it seems to get more popular year by year. We actually expect this to be our busiest Grand National ever. The reason for that's slightly tenuous in that betting shops for the first time from April the 1st will be able to open their doors slightly longer in the evening to cover summer racing, so therefore people will be able to pop in and place a bet on the way home from work.
No, you could do it all the time now.
Well, I wouldn't
Yes,
say
you're
all
going to
the
go all the time. 24-hour betting before long. OK, so you think that people are going to bet more and more. I mean, if... It's a bit sick, this, really, but if somebody was to say to you, would you accept a bet as to how many horses may have to be destroyed during the National, would you take that? Would you accept it?
Definitely not.
Why not?
Well, because any decision we make about the bets we accept, we have to have an element of taste brought into that. And that doesn't just come down to bets like on horse racing in the Grand National, but can also come down to things like, will Norman Lamont survive? I wouldn't take a bet on that. It's not my role to speculate on his future. It may be my role to bet on his replacement if there's a contest. But no, I wouldn't take a bet in that situation.
Rod Simpson. Rod, I must think, because Rod filled in at the last moment to come on the programme tonight. Rod, you're a trainer. You must surely have some feeling for the horses in your yard.
Well, I just feel that that sort of propaganda that you just read out earlier.
I'm having the same problem. It is one of those nights.
It makes it easier
Where's the... Hang on, we get the camera over there. I've decided, you know, just to time myself tonight, we've got this in case the interviews are going on too long. But go on, yes.
No, I think that helps the betting people because that just makes it... it just opens it more and more to people's eyes and the knowledge of the race. That's all it does. It gives them a bigger advert for the race. But for anybody to think that we enter horses to run in the Grand National because we'd like to see them get hurt and maimed and jockeys in hospital, it's got to be a sadistic person.
OK, now, Graham Bradley. Graham is the championship jockey. You've ridden...
I wish I was a championship jockey.
You're not a championship jockey.
I've rode nearly 500 winners, though, James.
OK, 500 winners seems to me to be, I don't know about anybody else, a championship jockey, but you've raced 9 times in the National. But you contend that the only unfair thing for the horse, and this is interesting, you could explain this to me as well, is that the fences do come as a surprise for the horse because the fences are the same on takeoff but have large ditches the other side. Is that right?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, James. On takeoff, they're exactly the same. In mid-air, they're exactly the same. But on landing, there is a little bit of a drop, which is a surprise for a horse. But 9 times out of 10, once they've got over the first and got used to it, they're usually all right.
How much of a relationship do you need to have with the... I mean, you don't meet the horses very often. You get to the ride, you ride them, and then you perhaps go and ride another horse. Do you have any sort of feeling for the horse that you ride?
You don't have a dating system, do you?
I've worked in horses all my life, and basically that's why I got into riding horses, because of my love for them. Ever since I was 5 or 6 years old, I used to ride them down the street, etc. And if I owned a racehorse, I would run it in the Grand National because I think it's perfectly... We're not perfectly safe, but perfectly acceptable. Oh, and I would have no qualms in...
Graham, a lot of horses are destroyed every year in the Grand National. It's one of the few races that you can guarantee there is going to be at least one horse destroyed.
James, there's a lot of horses destroyed all through the year, but there's a lot of greyhounds get destroyed through all the year. There's a lot of athletes that get maimed doing their own sports.
You were going to say destroyed, weren't you? And
I
you
wouldn't
just
destroy
stopped short, really, yes.
You take the majority sports and they have their injury problems. This is just no different to any other sport. Yes, we have our injury problems, but I think if you take the averages from each sport, there won't be a lot in it.
OK. Have you ridden a horse that had to be destroyed?
I've 3,500 rides. I've rode horses that have broken legs on the flat galloping, just cantering round all-weather circuits at home, etc., etc. but I've never rode one that's actually been destroyed in the Grand National. But I have had a number over the years through different things, jumping obstacles on the flat, like I say, going around bends that
When you're
unfortunately broke a leg.
when you're, you know, when you're approaching the fence, right? And I'm sorry, but you know,
Is that sponsored, though?
nothing sponsored. When you're riding the Grand National, you come up to the fence. Does the horse ever give you a sort of signal that that's it, stuff it, I am not doing that?
Now and again, occasionally, it would happen, yes, definitely.
And what
then
do you do? You
the jockey has to take it into his own mind that the horse isn't liking this, he's not going forward, he's not enjoying it.
So you wouldn't whack it and...
I would pull it up straight away, and I'm sure 99.9% of the other jockeys would realise, because after all, they've got their necks at stake as well, so they would look after the horse and they would look after themselves.
Would you agree with that? Would you do that?
As a trainer, I wouldn't let any of my jockeys be hurtful in any fashion.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed, all three of you, for the moment. That's the fours, if you like, in the Grand National debate tonight. We'll be talking to the... where is three? Which is three? Over there, three? Yeah. Michelle, that's nice of you to keep me. This is Michelle, directing and producing the programme up in the box tonight. Marvellous job without his head, which is down here. Competition winner. Now, the programme a couple of weeks ago, we gave away a holiday in Corfu. Mr F. Khan, coming up on the screen. There we are, Mr F. Khan from London. Well done to you. Now, this week's competition on Whale On, a holiday for two on the Greek island of Kos with the club holidays, which must be taken before the end of June 1993. And all you have to do to win that holiday is answer this question. Which of the following Greek dishes is light pink and made of cod's roe? Is it tzatski, kebabs, or taramasalata? Very difficult. All you have to do is ring 0891 900 007. 0891 900 007. You could be winging your way to Kos. Best of luck. Now, a little music. And tonight, a band from Bournemouth. Brilliant. They've been getting everybody going during rehearsal. So please welcome Dear John!
Baby, nothing bad, 'cause you ain't seen nothing yet.
Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, dear John.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? All right?
Hi.
Everybody's okay? Yeah. This is dear John. What's it like working with them?
Oh, it's hell. I keep waiting for the letter.
Do you? You probably get it before long as well. Yes, yes. What's the problem?
Problem? What problem?
Well, I mean, you haven't got a record deal.
Well,
you know, what's wrong with record companies? Why do we get so many talented people who don't seem to get anywhere? Do you know? Why?
No, I don't know. They just don't know what's good when they see it.
I think we've just started looking.
Hang on.
We've just started to present ourselves to record companies.
Kylie?
No.
Oh, sorry.
And I think once they hear us, once all of the right companies hear us, I'm sure,
okay,
I hope
well, listen,
we'll get something.
That was pretty good. That was fairly outstanding, to say the least. Thank you very much indeed. Before we go into the break, let me remind you, if you want to win that holiday in Kos, all you have to do is ring 0891 900 007 and tell me what that pinky cods roast stuff is. That's all you have to do. Back in a couple of moments. Bye-bye. Thank you. Welcome back. Hang on, hold that. Right. For any of you who would like to get in touch, we need really zany acts, interesting people and ideas for future shows. Write to Whale On, MMTV, 5 to 7. Look at that. Carnaby Street, London, W1V1PG. I shall tell you later. Well, actually, it suits you. You can hold it for a while. Over here, Dunk. These are beautiful paintings tonight from the Slade School of Art. I think we should have some applause for that. Lovely. Look at this over here. Very nice of you. Over this way. And I don't know if anybody would like these, but get in touch with us. They usually paint over them in a couple of days, but I think these we will keep. I say that now, so they can't get rid of them, and these are particularly splendid, these two over here. So make me an offer. And they could be yours. Thank you very much indeed. They're excellent. That was me appreciating art, by the way, just quietly for a few moments. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have any problems with your pussy? Well, some people do have terrific pussy problems. And we have a lady here who has come all the way from France.
Ah,
good evening. Enchanté.
Merci.
This is Lulu Latrine. Lulu Latrine is a vet.
Oui, James, let me tell you in brief what it is all about. Mr. and Mrs. Weinberger from the States have sent me their dog Fido.
Fido.
Oh, Fido.
Fido. Yes, yeah.
Now, the problem is that after the christening of that child, Yasmin, the baby went disappearing. They searched everywhere and could not find the baby. So, we are trying to decide if Fido
yes.
is in fact a pit bull terrier or not.
Is he a pit bull terrier or not?
Well,
I mean, he's cute, isn't he cute? Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Lulu's TV program is very popular in France, isn't it?
Yes, translated it means know your pet inside out.
Know your pet inside out.
Oui.
And it's on daytime television over there.
Oui.
And it really, and you all sorts of problems with pets. People write to you with pussies, with doggies, with hamsters, anything furry, really, and Lulu knows all about it.
Oui, James, oui. And what I am going to decide, I've been employed by the United Nations to settle this problem. And so I will judge whether this is a pit bull terrier on the contents of his stomach. So it has anesthetic.
On the contents of its stomach?
Oui, James, and we see what...
Oh, golly.
A bone.
Oh.
This is very normal.
It's a very normal bone. There's a bit of spaghetti around that as well.
Oh, yes.
Is it?
Maxim, very good. It ate very well last night.
Is that good? Yeah? What do you think?
The chick, that's very healthy. And, you notice how this dog does not bleed.
No blood coming out of this dog at all. Absolutely amazing.
It's amazing surgery. And
how do you do that? It's not giving birth, is it?
No, it's a very special surgery. It's a touch. It's the touch.
What do you feel for when your hand is when your hand is inside the animal? What are you feeling for?
Lumps and disorders in the giblets. I think we have found the evidence we have been looking for.
Yes.
James, would you hold the front of Fido for me carefully under the arm?
Fido, right, okay.
Oui, and
hang on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Ah!
The baby. And, it's dead. It's dead. I tried the kiss of life. Oh, it's too late. Never mind. We have to decide now the fate of Fido. Will we or will we not kill him?
No, we won't kill him. I think we should bring him back. Can we bring him?
Is he or is he not a pit bull terrier in your eyes, James?
I don't think he is a pit bull terrier, but when he's done all this, who knows? I mean, that's disgusting. Is it?
Well, it's perfectly normal for the dog.
Lulu, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you so much indeed.
It's been a pleasure.
Ladies and
Indeed,
gentlemen,
James. Thank you.
Lulu Latrine.
Merci.
We try to bring, Gary, the best parts of national and international television to this programme.
Well, you're still trying, aren't you?
And I really don't know what to say, except, of course, the letters have come flooded in today.
Oh, that's nice.
And Gary Jacobs, of course, is always here, or Jerry Isaacs, as I prefer to call him, with problems. First, let me... Mr. Pryor from Islington in London wrote to us, and briefly he says, I'm about to make an application for buying my council property. What I would like to ask... Mr. Gary Jacobs is, if the council said in their survey that the property was in a good condition, would I, in 3 years' time, the minimum time before selling to receive the full discount, be able to sue the council if there was structural damage?
Well, he should actually get the place examined by his own surveyor, not by the council's surveyor.
Are the council trustworthy? I mean, I would have thought they'd have been trustworthy.
Well, it's not a question of whether the council are trustworthy. It's a question of he's entering into a bargain. And he is deciding whether or not to buy a property. And he should actually have the place surveyed so that if there are any defects, he can place them before the council so they can be remedied before he buys. But once he buys, the property is his.
Yeah. He sounds to me like he's trying to make a fast buck.
Well, everyone who buys through the council is hopeful of getting an advantage in a certain number of years' time. What's this?
I'm in the Star. Look, I only get it a couple of times during the show. Look. OK, sorry. Right. Now, let's go to... let's go... Sorry.
Sorry, I was just looking at the horses. I was just thinking how pretty they were.
May I say you look remarkably subdued today?
Well, I thought I would be. I think your tie... You know, I saw that tie in New York.
Yes.
And that is about $220 plus tax.
I didn't buy it. It was a present. It was a present.
I tried to
present,
lift it. I tried to steal one.
Did you?
They wouldn't let me
I don't think that's a very good advertisement for your profession. First...
Well, I was in America. You do what you like. There's a gentleman... no, there's a lady there has a question. How about you? Yes.
I'm buying a house through a mortgage company, and they'll only give me a mortgage if I also buy the household insurance through them. So am I bound by law to do that?
No, but if somebody's offering you a mortgage on terms, they're entitled to set terms down that they consider appropriate. What they want to do is to guarantee that if anything happens to you, that they will be able to get their money back. And one of the things that they do insist upon, quite often, if you're borrowing, for example, over 75% of the price, is a top-up insurance to guarantee anything between 75% and 100% in the event of, for example, the property losing its value for some good reason. So I would advise you to take that insurance in any event.
It seems to me that the property market's booming. That's the first two things have all been about buying a house.
Well, the property market is probably booming, the same as everything else the government tells us is booming. The only thing that isn't booming is the money in our pockets.
OK, next one. So save some more money. Free legal advice.
Gentleman there, yes.
A friend of mine had coffee spilt all over him by a waiter. Could he sue for personal injury? Or...
What sort of personal injury?
Was he burnt? Was he scalded?
Yeah, he was quite...
Well, yes, he in fact could, because a waiter has a duty to take care not to pour coffee over you. After all, coffee is meant to be drunk, not poured all down your clothes. So that's quite simple, isn't it? Yes.
I was driving my car the other day. I've still got a bit of a cold. I sneezed. I had a bit of an accident because of my sneeze. Am I liable for the damage?
Well, first of all, bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, you are liable, I'm afraid to say.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean to.
You should be able to... I mean, there was a very famous case of somebody who was driving along and a bee got into the car and they started fighting the bee. What you should really do is stop the car or slow down and take care. You owe a duty of care to everybody.
Yeah, but you're sneezing.
You can't...
I mean, I'm surprised he sneezed, because most men I see in cars are busy picking their nose. Have you never noticed that? No, you drive home tonight, you watch, you'll see me as well. James, I don't know.
OK, one more.
There must be somebody else with... What is wrong with England? Nobody's got a legal
No,
problem.
no, that's
it's
fine.
Free.
That's fine.
Free.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm told no, that's the end of the time. Listen, anybody has any problems, write, of course, to us, to Gary Jacobs on Whale On, MMTV 5 to 7 Carnaby Street, and next week you'll do some more.
Yeah, but they never show me the letters.
No, we shouldn't show you the letters. Thank you very much indeed. Gary Jacobs.
Thank you.
OK. Let's continue. Now, we talked at the beginning of the show. The Grand National is soon going to be here. And my next three guests are all perhaps against, I don't know. Let's find out first of all. John Bryant, Head of the Press and Research for the League Against Cruel Sports. John, the Grand National, you wrote an interesting article recently about the Grand National. It made it sound like it was just carnage. I mean, we heard earlier that people love it in this country.
Well, over the years, there have been a lot of deaths and a lot of horses have been maimed and then later shot. You see, one of the problems with the Grand National, I think all horse racing, it's the only sport left in Britain where you can cheat, be adjudged to have cheated, and still pick up the prize money. And that is the use of the whip. If you ride across someone and cut someone off, or your horse is drugged and it's proven, then it's disqualified. If you cheat with the use of the whip, and you are judged to have excessively used the whip by the racing authorities, the result still stands.
But I was under the impression that the jockeys actually flicked the whip along the side of the horse, and it was the side of the wind that actually got them going rather than hitting them.
No, it's the use of pain.
Is it?
Yes, the use of pain. I mean, it's been admitted by the jockey club that you hit a horse to hurt it, to make it run faster. Now, there is a use in Scandinavia. The Scandinavian system is you're allowed to carry a whip, but you're not allowed to take your hands off the reins to use it. So you can use it as a guide to get the horse's attention, to move it into a position, but you can't, when the horse is tired, it's given its best. When you start lashing it, you're using pain.
Are you against all horse racing?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay. Bernard Donegan, you're the equine consultant for the RSPCA. For 21 years, you were an inspector for the Grand National. Tell me some of the things that you saw.
Well, the most distressing things, obviously, were the fatalities. I'll be there again this year. This will be the 25th year I've been there. And certainly it's probably the most distressing thing of the horses that finish up having to be put down. Fortunately now, we've taken some of the real hazards out of the race.
Is it still dangerous or not, or are you still fighting a campaign against the Grand National?
We've never been against the Grand National.
You're not against the Grand National?
No, we've never ever tried to ban the Grand National. The only thing we're trying to do is make it a little easier for the horses themselves. Beecher's Brook was undoubtedly quite a problem fence.
According to John, in the article, in 1951, only 3 horses finished out of a field of 36.
Yeah.
It's greatly improved now, and you have to acknowledge what the Jockey Club has done. They've improved some of the fences under public pressure and animal welfare pressure, and so things are a lot better. And it remains to be seen whether the National is now going to be a more humane activity.
Do the slaughter of horses after the Grand National, and there is always at least one horse slaughtered after the Grand National?
Not necessarily, no. We've gone through the Grand National several times without fatalities. Over the 3 days, you invariably do finish up with perhaps 1 or 2 having to be put down.
I mean, is any sport really worth that sort of thing? I don't think it is.
Well, by the same rule, you can draw comparisons. I mean, somebody riding on Rotten Roll can break a horse's leg, so it's not particularly exclusive to horse racing. But the thing that you really need to try and do is make things as easy and as bearable as you can for the horse. The horse has no choice. The jockey has a choice, the horse doesn't.
Do you think horses like doing it or not?
Well, I don't think after 4.5 miles you can say a horse has had a whale of a time.
No, that's good. I like that.
But horses do... I mean, I've been with horses all my life, in civilian life and in the army. And horses enjoy being ridden out, they enjoy human companionship. But I wouldn't say that if they were able to have the same powers of reasoning that we had, they'd volunteer to do 4.5 miles with 12 stone on the back.
Let's look a little differently. Len here is the National Public Relations Officer for Gamblers Anonymous. Now, Len, you obviously would like to see all betting done away with.
No.
You wouldn't like to see betting or gambling done away with?
No. We've got no opinion on gambling. We're not against gambling at all. We basically set up to help compulsive gamblers. I mean, National is normally the old lady with a 50p and 10p on horses. Good luck to her. We're there to help the compulsive gambler, the person who can't stop.
Are there people that when the Grand National, when the Derby or whatever, some of these big races comes along, is that absolutely terrible? Do people have to shut themselves away or...?
Well, no. The thing is, with a compulsive gambler, the nature of the illness is that you've got your declaration months and months ahead of. You've got horses at ridiculous prices. And when I was gambling, as a compulsive gambler, of course, we think we're so knowledgeable, know everything. In January, I'll fancy horse hay, 50 to 1.
So you're not bothered about the Grand National at all, really, Len? Just you're there to help people who have a problem with gambling.
We're just there, the people who can't help themselves regarding gambling.
Thank you for the moment, Len. I don't actually know how you got onto the programme tonight, but it's nice to have you there. Do you know, you sometimes wonder why you come and sit here, don't you, really? No, Len, I'm not against you at all.
Well, I was wondering about that.
And you're doing a debate about whether or not the Grand National is... Oh, never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, I need a little light relief. Please welcome Rent a Sketch.
And now, from the new non-violent Hollywood, 20th Century Puppy Dog proudly presents Woody Allen as Terminator 3.
I can't believe I'm doing this, you know. I'm standing outside and I'm a robot. I mean, you know, what if it rains? You know, there are certain parts of my anatomy I don't want to rust, you know. I mean, what if I get struck by lightning? You know, what am I going to take for a headache? You know, anti-freeze.
Okay, look, nobody come near me or I blow her away.
What are you saying? You know, what is it with these people?
It's typical macho sexual frustration. Some men just can't handle a rejection.
You tell me about it.
I'm warning you.
You're warning me. You're dealing with a guy here who has the strength of 10 men. Fortunately, you're also dealing with a guy who has a 10 spur Valium. You take these.
Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you should see my analyst.
No. I feel fine now. I was just feeling a little tense, that's all.
Really?
Have you met Diane?
Diane Keaton, are you kidding? She used to be in all my movies. How are you? I mean, you look terrific.
My orgasms aren't as frequent as they used to be. But...
Oh, really? Have you tried a large vibrating egg?
Oh, no, I can't. I've just got this thing about machines.
What do you say? I'm a robot. You know, you really hurt my feelings.
I can't believe I said that.
I'm a machine. You just, you know, how can you say that?
So how are you? How are the kids? I'm sorry. I can't believe I said that.
Okay. Competition caption coming up, and all you have to do to win that fantastic holiday in Kos is answer this simple question. Which of the following Greek dishes is light pink and made of cod's roe? Is it A, tara masalata, B, kebabs, or C, tzatski? 0891 900 007. But now, back to 20th Century Puppy.
Woody Allen is Terminator 3. Also coming soon is Hellraiser 4, starring Woody Allen.
Has anybody got an aspirin? I got such a headache, you know. It might even be a migraine. You know, I think we should take a break now, you know.
Now, we're outside. I was just getting far too uptight. I had to come outside and get some air. Now, you know, when you have a late-night television show, of course, a lot of people... Should we move this way, Dunk? A lot of people think, of course, you have to be arty, and we thought that Whale On should get into art. So we invited a couple of new artists to display their work here outside the programme. And, again, I think you will be very amazed at this. Sorry, you're Nick, isn't it? Mark. I knew it had a K at the end. Mark, what is this? This is lovely. I mean, obviously, Channel 4 are going to be livid that they didn't get this first of all. What is it exactly?
This is Red Drum. He's a horse.
Red Drum. Very good. And it's a movable sculpture.
It is. We've got a jockey on it right here.
Yeah.
It wobbles a bit, but it's meant to do that.
Okay. And down over there, Duncan, if we go in the box.
Over here we have the royal box. This isn't a bit too political for ITV, I hope, but yeah, we've got a chimp with big ears sitting in the royal box, watching horse racing, which of course is very cruel, which is what the whole programme's about, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I was beginning to wonder, but and you made this evening as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good too. And he likes it. He jumps on and off it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We should have got some stirrups, but
You couldn't find any?
We couldn't find any on any skips anywhere.
And you do, I mean, you actually, you do this. This is your job.
This is my job, yeah.
You are a sculptor. How much would this now cost, do you think?
I don't know, we'd sell this one for about 400 or 500, wouldn't we?
And the rest, come on, 7, 8, something like that.
We'd give it to you for 400 or 500.
400 or 500. Listen, thank you very much indeed. I do think that everybody should support the arts, and that's lovely. Thank you. We'll see you again later. Bye. Okay, do you want to come in? It's cold. Do you want to come in? Fine. Yeah. Why not come in? It's very, very good indeed. You might as well come in and take part in the audience. I mean, and anybody else out there wants to come in as well. It's round this way. Yeah, come in this way. You find a little place over there. The interesting thing is Mr. Sound Person, where are you? Hey. Okay, the interesting thing is that every time you walk into this studio, it's only a little one over here, so you walk over here, you follow me, you see, it's only to here, right, that's the door, there. Okay, there's the door. Get Emma's in the door, see that? Okay, over to here, very small studio. Every time you come in through the door, you get a rapturous round of applause. Very easy. So if I put, look, even Emma, just walk in through the door. Walk in through the door, Emma. Watch what happens. Go on. Okay. Talk about milking it, Emma. Mr. Hayes, the Honourable Member for Harlow. Okay, Jerry, what a wonderful time we have talking to you. We've had so many lovely letters from lovely people.
Oh, dear.
VAT on domestic fuel. It's been a few weeks since the budget, and we've given you leeway.
Well, you haven't?
Yes, we have.
You always have a go at me.
I'm not.
Doesn't he have a go at me?
No.
Yes.
The audience. Yes. The audience has been watching you jig around. Was that funny? That was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah.
Okay, serious point. I mean, I know Norm watches the programme. He does watch the programme.
I mean, it's not a joke. He does actually watch the programme. Yeah.
And I just why?
Well, the fact is we've got a deficit of £50 billion because of the world recession. We've got to claw the money back somehow. And what we're working on is to help, not those just on income support, the poorest people, they're going to be all sorted out anyway. It's those pensioners...
Run back slightly. They're all going to be sorted out. They are all going to to be anyway.
They are going to be...
You all heard that, didn't you?
Okay. You can trust me, I'm a
politician. Go on.
Right. Thank you.
How are we doing?
We're doing all right.
Yes.
Okay. But I think the real problem, Mary, are those people, pensions in particular, on fixed incomes who are just above income support.
And VAT should be changed, in my humble opinion. Value-added tax was supposed to be a tax on things that you didn't necessarily need.
No, it wasn't actually.
Wasn't it?
No, sorry.
I'm so sorry. I thought it was.
No, it's not. In fact, we've got exemptions because the rest of Europe, in fact, we're the only people in Europe who do not have VAT on domestic fuel oil, and we're just coming into line. But don't let's have a row over Must Street. I have not had much sleep this week because of these awful people. We call them the Marmite.
Hang on, just 1 minute. I'm in the Star again.
Oh.
Okay, fine.
We call the rebels the Marmite kids because if they're spread,
this is a joke.
It's a joke. Be ready.
This is a joke.
if they're spread thinly, they're less unpleasant.
You don't like the idea of the nanny state, do you?
No, I don't.
You don't like the idea of the nanny state at all. You and the rest of your fellows on the Tory side. Yeah. I was just thinking, the right or left? Right.
I'm on the left. I'm a middle of the road Tory. Yeah.
I think the word begins with a B and ends with S. You don't like the nanny state, so why, therefore, are you going to... And I'm not in favour... I mean, what they have on... It's not really. What they have on Red Hot Dutch is pretty awful and pretty boring and anything else. But, I mean, if people want to watch it, who's you to sort of stop
if anyone
them?
listens to BBC Radio in a few days' time, you'll hear me arguing precisely that. As far as I am concerned...
I don't know why I bother doing this.
I don't know, yeah. If people want to watch porn, provided it doesn't involve children or animals or violence, let them do it. What the hell, in the privacy of their own home.
John Major. He likes peas.
You can watch him in the privacy of your own home too, if you like.
He gets upset about that. What about these peas? Why is it that everybody says, every time you see a sketch on Spitting Image about him, they're shoveling peas into him. What is it about him and peas?
Well, it's true. I'd say it because
you can have a few more minutes on that. I mean, what is it about him and peas?
Shall I tell you? Absolutely true story. I had lunch with him at number 10 just before the general election. Aren't you just impressed? Right. Well, I had lunch with him just before the general election, and we were sitting around the table, and, the vegetables came up. I don't mean the cabinet, but the vegetables came up. Another joke, thank you.
That's another Cleo sketch.
Another Cleo sketch. The vegetables came up, and then a big tureen of peas arrived. I thought, oh no, what's going to happen? He said, Not bloody peas again. It's just a joke.
That wasn't even really worth doing, was it? Okay, right.
It was true. It was true.
Okay, the honourable member. Oh, we haven't had a letter. I might save it for next week about you, actually. Yeah, no, I'll save it for next week. I'll save it for next week. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Hayes. Are you lift your chair up and go over that way.
Rude.
Take your chair. Right. You can. Thank you for all the letters, but over that way. You and that flipping solicitor, you both building your parts, aren't you? My part needs building. I don't like that shot of me. I think you'd come up a bit higher. Esther Ransom would never let you shoot her that low. She always insists, hides the chins, I hear. Sexy cameraman letter. We have had a letter here from M.A. Lightfoot. And M.A. Lightfoot says, "Hi, James, could we have about 20 tickets for the show? And also, could you tell us who that very sexy cameraman was last week?" I think, what was that? He's not here tonight. What was his name? Jeremy. Was it Jeremy? Or it could have been Barry, couldn't it? Okay, so if you want, we've got the number here. It's an 0425 number, and we'll get in touch with that later. I'll read some of those letters next week because we must get on. Let's get back to the Grand National. Anybody in the audience against the Grand National, or do we all think it's a pretty good, enjoyable sport? Anybody?
I like it. I'm against it.
Why not?
Well, I've read that about they geld the horses just solely for the racing.
They geld the horses for the racing, for the Grand National? All in the Grand National are geldings?
Yes. Basically.
No? Is that right? It's not. Sorry, RSPCA. John, Bernard, down the front here. Aren't they?
No. Horses are gelded.
With two bricks, isn't it?
Yeah. As long as you keep your thumbs from between. But it's only if you left them all entire.
Yeah.
There would be far more stallions than ever you'd need, and a lot of them aren't very tractable when they're left entire. So they geld them because they're easier to manage, and of course. Their minds are more concentrated. If you've got other things on your mind, you won't want to run.
How much yes, probably. How much lower do you think the fences should be in the National? How much lower would you be happy to see the fences?
I don't think they're. I think they're about right as they are now.
You think they're right as they are?
About, yeah.
Okay. About Linford Critchley's height. I see. I got over here. Let me go back to my jockey friend over here. I won't embarrass him about the whipping and everything else over there, but she said, "Don't talk to me about that, for goodness sake." But would you, as a jockey, I mean, I know you said in some of the notes I read about you earlier, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to move that over there because it's annoying me. Okay, cameras will just get round it. Would you like to see the fences a little lower? Or perhaps get rid of that ditch on the other side that seems to cause the problem?
No, I don't think so. 20, 30 years ago, they were absolutely fearsome, the fences, and I think the Jockey Club, and in conjunction with the RSPCA, have done a marvellous job. I firmly believed the Grand National was all about Beeches Brook, actually. That made the National. But that element of surprise, that drop on landing, which they weren't expecting, I'm really pleased they've taken it away, and it's made it so much safer for horse and rider now.
You see, I still feel that every year that people do watch the Grand National, I find I watch the Grand National just to see how many poor sods fall off their horses and how many horses have their I mean, you know, they bring out the green canvas around and go bang. The jockeys don't get that sort of treatment if they break a leg, do they?
Depends who they ride for.
Do you? Sorry.
Break the legs.
Yeah.
Is that they're very hard to nurse. To suspend a horse, you're interfering with his digestive tract. When you get him right, in 12 months' time, he could well be so afflicted with arthritis that you'd have to put him down anyway. So why put him through all that to begin with?
John, I mean, what do you think about it? You're the man who started this in your recent article about the Grand National. I mean, would you be happy to see the fences as they are, or would you be happy?
No, I don't think it's a question of the fences now. It certainly was. I mean, they were just horrendous and caused a lot of fatalities. I would personally like to see the race shorter, less distance, so it's not so gruelling at the end. And I think, again, we would like to see the whip, the Scandinavian system of the use of the whip adopted, so you don't use pain at the end of the race.
Why are jockeys get? I mean, I get there's another jockey with us down here in the front end. Do you think that this continual controversy about the whip is fair, or do you think it puts jockeys perhaps in a bad light?
It definitely puts jockeys in a bad light. Yeah, I mean, I don't like answering questions on the whip, I'm afraid.
Why is it? I mean, I won't press you on that.
We're speaking about people that have probably never sat on a horse. I mean, it's.
Well, I had 20 horses. I looked after 20 horses for 8 years. And,
you never touched one of them?
I never hit one with a whip.
I bet they just ran all over you.
Yeah, just a minute. What?
Oh, just to answer the question there, if they shorten the Grand National, doesn't that gentleman realise that they're going to be going between 15 and 20 mile an hour faster at the same fence? Does he think that's good?
No,
can't you slow the horse
If you shorten the distance of the race, the speed element gets greater. Is
there anybody in the audience tonight who would just like to see over sticks, horses raced over the jumps done away with? Is anyone here who really doesn't like it?
James, I would. I would like people to...
I knew you'd like to say something. Go on. Just a minute. Gary, just one moment. There's a lady just in the middle who's going to say something with the earrings, I think. You were thinking about it. What do you feel?
Yeah, I don't see why they shouldn't jump over hedges, but why have they got to have the surprise at the other side? What's the point? Why are they asking for injuries and deaths?
Presumably, so that you never know who's going to win. Well, for sport, is that what works? For sport?
They don't have the surprise anymore. I mean, that's been taken away. I mean, the drop has been raised as such.
You don't think there's anything cruel about horse racing at all?
No.
No.
I mean, there's injuries in every sport. I mean, why do people drive cars at 200 miles an hour or whatever? I mean...
does anybody here feel that it's the horse not having the choice that's the problem? You think that the horse ought to have a... Yeah, there's a guy just down here in the second row, and I'll come back to Gary in a moment. I mean, do you...
I think a horse should have a choice, but they haven't got a mind. I mean...
Well, they have. I mean, I don't think that's very fair either.
We can't understand what they feel.
What we do know is that horses love running with their own kind. So there's nothing wrong per se with horse racing. My old 20 pensioner horses would always love to run together and across the fields. It's when you start introducing money, prestige, human beings and pain, then it ceases to be a sport, in my view.
It's competition.
It'll continue to go.
It's competition. It's not pain. I mean, you've gone through 5 things there. I mean, it's competition. That's what it is.
So the Grand National will carry on, and you don't think anybody is going to stop it. We hope to have people from the campaign against the Grand National who didn't make it tonight, unfortunately. Thank you all very much indeed. I just wanted to say that the people from Rent-a-Sketch we saw earlier are appearing at the Canal Cafe if you would like to see them. Which camera shall I do this on? I don't know. I think perhaps this one over here. Next week, we will be looking at the sport of bodybuilding, and there will be all sorts of people here with their rippling torsos and rippling muscles in the studio. I hope you'll join us for that. A quick reminder of the competition. The competition to win that holiday in Kos. All you have to do is ring 0891 900 007. It's a club-style holiday, and you could be winging your way on that trip if you can answer that simple question, which is probably coming up on the screen at the moment. If I have a look over there, is it? No? There we are. We'll put it up. Can we? No, we can't put it up. Okay, we can't put it up. But what is that? What is that? The name of that stuff made from cod's roe? Is it kebabs or is it pita bread or is it taramasalada or whatever it is? Ring up and you could win the holiday. Let me go back just very quickly to Gary because he did have something he wanted to say.
I'd like to pose a legal point.
You would?
Well, that's why I'm here. We have a law which says that if I consent, my child can be beaten in school. We have a law that says if I consent, I cannot beat a friend of mine for sexual purposes. But I can beat a horse which never consents. That I don't understand.
OK. Thank you very much indeed on that. On that particular point, we thank you very much indeed. I'm sure the controversy will continue. Join us again next week. Have a nice weekend from all of us here from Whale On. Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you.